If you're waiting for her to dump you so you don't have to be the bad guy, you're already the bad guy. Let's talk about ending things with integrity.
We're going live, baby.
We'll do it live.
You're listening to the premier podcast for men who want to not only be better with women, but want to be better men in general. This is the Come On Man podcast. And here's your host,
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer. He is a certified master life coach and NLP practitioner.
It's true. It's damn true. Happy hump day, guys. So we had the craziest thing happen in Wolfpack in quite a while. We have this guy who's been in the pack for a long time now. A good dude, but lately he's been literally driving everybody in the pack nuts. absolutely nuts. He's been exclusive with a gal for the last 9 months, but he absolutely hates this chick. Okay, he absolutely does not like her. Okay. There's times where he'll post about her and things are good. You know, the sex is crazy and all the positive stuff. And that's great. But then the next week, he absolutely hates her guts, right? Thinks she's a liberal piece of crap. He was saying this morning that when Charlie Kirk got assassinated, she basically grilled him to see where his position was. And she was judging him based on like whether he was conservative or liberal. Like, okay, so like I can understand why that kind of that behavior would be annoying, right? I can understand that. Okay. He hates all of her friends and he reads into everything she says. Like anything she says, anything, we're always like, dude, women are the most responsible teenager in the house. Like, who cares, right? But he will go off the handle about this kind of stuff. And I say this with love, but he's clearly the problem. Okay. I even asked him if he has ever been diagnosed as bipolar because of the way he's so hot and cold with this chick and what he's talking about this chick, right? Well, anyway, the other day, all of us in the pack told him he needs to end things if he's this miserable with her. And but he wouldn't because he's afraid of being alone. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. I have a sponsored live stream that we're going to do tomorrow afternoon. A guy who's older, a guy who's in his 50s, who's like afraid to be alone. But this guy's in his, I think he's in his late 20s, maybe late 20s, early 30s, and he's afraid of being alone. So he didn't want to break up with her. Now, how many of you guys out there are in relationships you absolutely hate? You can't stand it, but you're too chicken shit to break up with her because you're afraid of being alone or you're afraid of being the bad guy. Okay. We're going to get into that today. And I did say the S word before the 8-minute mark. So guys, do please send super chats today. I'm probably already demonetized. But we're going to get into it. Before we get into it though, my name is Paul Bauer. I help men level up and get better with women. And the funny thing about doing that is when we work on this stuff, it tends to make us better men in all areas of our lives. Now, what I'm going to get into today isn't exactly red pill advice, okay? But I'm a big proponent of Dr. Robert Glover's advice of being a good ender, okay? Being a good ender and ending things with integrity. If you're going to set the tone and lead your relationships, I personally believe that includes leading when it comes to ending things and doing it with some integrity and some dignity. Okay. To me, it's like a golden rule type thing, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I'm not even a religious guy, but it's a good rule of thumb. Like how would you want to be treated? Would you want a girl who hates your guts stringing you along for months because she doesn't want to feel alone instead of setting you free so you could find someone who actually loves you? Think about that for a second. Okay. But, doing it with integrity, it means if you've slept with her multiple times, she deserves, in my opinion, the dignity of you doing it in person. Okay. Doing it via text, it's cowardly. Acting so bad that she breaks up with you, that's the death by cop method, which is also cowardly. Think about these guys, the guys who do, we can't say the S word, right? But the unaliving by cop method, where they run out with an empty gun and point it at a cop, so the cop has to shoot the person and end things because they're too chicken shit to eat a bullet themselves. So they make some other poor guy do it and have to live with that. That's fucked up. Okay. Also, not at the 8-minute mark. Guys, send super chats. Ghosting her is cowardly. Ghosting, okay? Especially if you've been dating her for 9 months, you've been having wild, crazy sex. I'm talking about like all 3 holes and bondage and all that kind of crazy shit, and then you fucking ghost her. That's cowardly as fuck, okay? For crying out loud, a phone call or FaceTime would be better alternative options. Okay. Now, here's where I think there are times where texting and ghosting is acceptable. Okay. Let's say you haven't really met in person yet. You're still on the dating apps. You've been texting and she's just wasting your time. Ghosting's fucking fine for that. You don't owe her shit. Okay. Women that refuse to meet up with you and they just want validation on the apps and want to text unendingly for weeks at a time, they're wasting your fucking time. Ghost those bitches, okay? You don't owe them anything. If you've only met 1 or 2 times and you haven't had sex, sending a text message that you're not feeling is perfectly okay. Okay, you don't owe her anything either. Now, why isn't this red pill advice? I mentioned at the beginning, this isn't really red pill advice. It's not red pill because red pill is supposed to take morals and integrity off the table and just tell you what is. Okay. And you can add your own morals and values on top. And that's what I'm doing. Okay. I'm not telling you how you should do it. I'm telling you how I recommend doing it. Okay. Now you guys can still take the cowardly way out. If that's just easier for your ego or whatever the fuck, you can still do it however you want to. You're going to do it anyway. Okay. Whatever. I'm not, I'm secretly judging you, but so I'm not telling you what you should do today. I'm telling you what I would do. And I'm going to try to make a case of why that's a good idea. I'll also tell you what our boy in the pack ended up doing at the end. Okay. I'll tell you what he ended up doing. Before we get too far into this though, guys, do be sure to like, subscribe, hit those notifications. I do have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And occasionally I have sponsored streams on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Okay. All right. So why being a good ender matters. Well, ending well, it's the mark of a man who not only respects himself, but the woman that he's been intimate with for the last several months. Okay. Even if he's not feeling it, even if things aren't working out for him, he's ending things with some dignity. Okay. She did give a piece of her life away. And for a lot of women, the clock's ticking. Okay. The clock's ticking. And for men, it's not that big of a deal. You date a girl for like 9 months, 2 years or whatever, like you can, no problem. There's really not a big time limit when it comes to wanting to find the right girl and maybe settling down someday and having kids. Like you can have kids until your 60s and shit if you wanted to. I don't know why you would, but that's for a different episode. But for women, like they have a very finite amount of time before they run out of eggs and they can't have kids anymore, and then the later in life that they have kids, the more pregnancy risks that they can expect, So for a lot of women, when you string them along for a long time, just because you're afraid to be alone, you're literally wasting their life. Okay. So to me, it's like the least thing that you could do in that circumstance is end things respectfully and tell her in person, I'm just not feeling things. I wish you all the best of luck. It's, and don't do it's not you, it's me, because everyone knows that's bullshit. Okay. And literally everyone knows that's a fucking cop out. Don't tell her I'm sorry, because you're not fucking sorry. Just say, I'm not feeling it. I'm ending things. and shut the fuck up. Okay. She's going to yell at you. She's going to call you names. Like, she's owed that. Just be like, okay, yeah, I understand. Like, don't fucking get an argument with it. Be the bigger person. Let her give her your piece, give her shit back, you know, fucking move on. Okay. Rip that Band-Aid off. But it's the mark of a man who respects himself and respects other people. The thing is, when you start doing this sort of thing, you'll find that most women respect a guy that can end things with dignity and not make a big mess out of everything. And then one of the things that the brother in Wolfpack was talking about was he was worried about his reputation. And I'm like, what reputation? Okay. Like, no one fucking knows who you are. Right. But the thing is that on the dating circuit, things get around, you know what I mean? And if you end up on those dating sites where women are like, are we dating the same man? And some woman talks a bunch of trash about you. First of all, that's good. That's good word of mouth marketing. But wouldn't you rather have women say, yeah, he was a jerk or whatever, but at least he gave me the dignity of telling me in person. He didn't fucking do it over text, or he didn't ghost me or something like that. Like, that would give you a better reputation with women. You know what I mean? If that's something you're worried about. Staying out of fear, it's worse than staying with her out of fear. It's worse than ending from a position of strength. Okay. If you hate being there, but you stay anyway, you're just lying to yourself and dragging her with you. Right. One of the things that we kept telling him, we kept saying, like, dude, just end this girl's misery. Okay. Just put her out of her misery, bro. Put us out of our misery for having to listen to this shit. Right. but put her out of her misery, because it's not fair to her. It's not fair. You don't even like her. And you're wasting her time. Put her out of her misery. This poor girl. That's what we kept saying. This poor girl. And he's like, she's not a poor girl. We're like, then fucking end things. Okay. But until then, you're basically just slow pulling off a Band-Aid and ripping hairs out slowly like a fucking sadist. You know what I mean? Just rip that shit off. Okay. And from a position of strength, you'll feel better for it. You'll be a better man for it. Okay. If you can't even do this, like, you're going to be the weak kind of person in all other areas of your life too. Okay. And one of the things that I try to teach on this channel is be a man that sets the tone and leads in all area of your life. If you can't even lead in this area, where else are you going to fall short? Right. So let me ask you guys this. Okay. What kept you in a relationship that you hated? Was it fear of being alone, fear of being the bad guy, or something else? Let me know in the chat, or if you're watching the replay, drop a comment below. What kept you in a relationship that you hated? Okay. Now, cowardice, it creates more damage than just being straightforward and honest. Dragging the relationship out, it forces both people into a place of resentment and passive hostility. Like, imagine this. You're in the relationship and you hate her guts. And every time you go over there, you're going to feel sick to your stomach. You're going to feel out of place. You're going to have all this silent resentment. It's going to be miserable. It's going to be miserable for you. And then your body language is going to show that. She's going to feel that. Women are very, they're very perceptive when it comes to resentment. I talk about that a lot in the show, how if you have any kind of resentment with your wife and you're trying to fix your marriage, like, it's going to bubble out. She's going to be able to see this shit, right? So if you fucking hate this girl that you're dating, and every time you're with her, you're just annoyed by her, it's going to show up in your eye rolls and your fucking body language and your closed off fucking, like all that kind of stuff. And it's going to make her feel uncomfortable the whole time. You're just going to be creating miserable situations. Okay. And then the whole time you're thinking about, I need to break up with her, but I can't. Now you're going to be resenting your own self for being a puss. Okay. Let's talk about death by cop behavior. Right. So my man here, he texted this the other day too. We're like, the fuck are you doing? Right. You just need to fucking end things with her. Right. Well, what his plan was to, basically go to her the next time he sees her and fucking give her a dress down about how he fucking hates her friends and how he doesn't like her politics, all this kind of stuff. Just basically, hold her accountable. And because he goes, and then maybe she'll break up with me because I can't do this. I can't do it or whatever. And we're like, dude, that's the death by cop method. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And the thing is about the death by cop method is it's super weak. It pushes the responsibility onto her because you're too scared to do your job. Okay. If you are not happy in the relationship, it's up to you to end things. Okay. It's not her job. She's happy. She thinks she's happy anyway. She has no idea how miserable you are. Okay. But now you're going to be a dick and put it on her. Think about people who have done that to you. Okay. Women do this shit a lot. Right? Women will monkey branch. They'll be mentally checked out from a relationship for like 2 years before they drop that brick in your lap. And that whole time they're lining up beta male orbiters, or to try to find the next guy that they can get with. And then once they secure a guy, that's when they're going to drop the fucking bomb on your lap. Right? But they string that shit along and you think everything's great. And then all of a sudden you're blindsided by this and you're like, what the fuck happened? Why would you do that to someone else? It's fucking awesome. It's fucking awful. Okay. That's what Red Pill chick did that shit to me. She was mentally checked out 2 years before the end of the relationship. And even then she didn't want to break things off. She was just pushing me away and really acting very shady. And finally I was like, I can't deal with this anymore. I can't be in a relationship with a chick that does this shit. She did the death by cop method to me. It's fucking awful. I much rather her have just straight up told me, hey, this isn't working out for me. We're going to have to move on. You know what I mean? Okay. By the way, guys, if you're not in this position and you're actually in a good relationship and you don't want things to end and you want to keep things going long-term and you've been in bad relationships and you've had people fucking do death by cop to you and you don't want to be blindsided by shit like that ever again, grab Keep Your Bitch. It's all about maintaining attraction for the long term. You finally got her back. The spark's alive again. Or you met someone new and everything feels effortless. Right now, anyway. But deep down, most men lose it right after they win it. They stop setting the tone, start coasting, and attraction slowly dies in silence. That's what kills 90% of relationships. Complacency. She doesn't stop loving you overnight. She just stops feeling you. And if you think loyalty alone keeps her interested, you're already slipping. Now that you've turned your relationship around with get her to fuck you again, or you moved on and found a real contender after forget that bitch, you need to know how to keep that attraction burning for the long haul. Introducing the next book in the Red Pill Guide series, Keep Your Bitch, coming this December. It's not about saving failing relationships. It's about never letting one fail again. You'll learn how to lead with frame, maintain polarity, and keep her obsessing over you year after year. Because attraction isn't permanent, it's maintained daily. Stay the man she fell for. Stay the man she can't stop thinking about. Keep Your Bitch. Available this December. Indeed, guys, it's available. Actually, these books will all drop on Black Friday. You can pre-order the Kindle edition now. Otherwise, paperback and hardcover drop on Black Friday. And I just submitted the Audible edition on Monday night. So the Audible should be available by December 1st if ACX doesn't have any problems with it or whatever. Nurse Chick's in the house. Nurse Chick gets this. Hold on. Where is this at? It's right here. Hold on.
I'm so naughty.
There we go. Let's try that again.
I'm so naughty.
There we go.
I'm gonna come.
I will.
That pussy must be ridiculous.
It is. It's definitely okay. There. I have this new sound drop too, guys. This is from Morgan May from Monday's episode.
You're weak as shit and call yourself an alpha. Like, get fucked.
All right, that was a funny one. Okay, let's see here. Who else do we have in the chat here? Hey, Alex Patino, what's going on, brother? What's up? Vatos Locos, you British cigarettes. Erkin's in the house. He says, "Good day, folks." Erkin says, "Being alone is great." Okay, cool. I'm glad you like it. I wish you could be single like me. God. Oh man, if you guys ever study like the Gnostics, right? The Gnostics. There was also this female deity named Sophia and shit like that, and she actually helped spawn the world. Anyway, we won't get into that. Don't leave the breakup to women. Take the lead. That's right. Well, I mean, if you hate her, definitely, right? I mean, obviously, if she hates you, she's going to just monkey branch and do all this fucking nasty shit to you, and then you're going to be pissed off about it and be like, "Women suck." I talked to a girl once. Just kidding. We don't do that here. Let's see here. Phil's in the house. He says, "Hola, what's going on, man?" Okay. Let's talk about a clean break. A clean break, it's kinder than a messy linger, okay? One of the things that I learned from Dr. Glover when it comes to being a good ender is if you're going to break up with a girl, less is best, right? Less is more. You don't need a big, long explanation about why you're breaking up with her, okay? That goes back to Deering. You don't need to defend, explain, excuse, rationalize fucking anything, okay? You don't owe her an explanation, okay? You're just not feeling it, right? So just tell her that. 2 sentences max. Whenever you're going to deliver bad news to people, 2 sentences max, okay? If you are a boss and you have to fire someone, keep it to 2 sentences max, okay? If you are like whatever, keep it to 2 sentences max. So just be short, direct, no accusations, no long speeches, no emotional dumping. Just things aren't working out right now. I'm going to end things. 2 sentences. Okay. Now I want an explanation or whatever. Just keep it to those 2 sentences and broken record that shit. Okay. Look, I'm just not feeling things right now. I'm ending things. She keeps saying whatever. I want to know. You need to tell me why. I'm just not feeling things right now. I'm ending things. Your feelings don't need an explanation. Okay. My man absolutely did not fucking do this. He did get the balls to go over to her house and give her shit back. And then he had it all planned out. He was gonna dump her. And then he just lost all nerve and ended up basically trauma dumping on her, telling her he doesn't feel emotionally safe in the relationship or whatever. He said they ended up in his car for like an hour or whatever. And then the way he ended that conversation was, "I need time to think about things." He still didn't fucking do it. We're like, "What the fuck are you doing, bro? Jesus fuck." And so at that point, I was like, "Look, you already gave her the dignity of talking it out. You're clearly not strong enough to do this in person. Now texting is fine." We're like, now just text her with, "I thought it over. We're fucking ending things," right? Like, we'll get into that more. You actually will teach yourself who you really are by how you end things. You will teach yourself who you really are by how you end things, okay? Every time you avoid a necessary ending, you reinforce the identity of a man who hides from his own choices. And that's exactly what my man was doing. He was avoiding this. He really, it became clear how mentally and emotionally weak he is and how very little frame he has. And I don't say this in a mean way. It's a learning opportunity. Okay. It's a learning opportunity to really see who you are and what you need to work on. He really needs to work on his mental frame and his emotional control, like a lot, right? A lot of us do that. Mental frame is the hardest thing for men to learn in this space, you know, and you'll see it. You'll see it on really shitty red pill channel, like red pill channels, because those guys, they're still focused on trying to hold women accountable instead of working on themselves. And they're mad at women still, right? That right there shows that how little mental frame and emotional control you have. If you're trying to change all your external factors when you can only change yourself. Okay. This is why it's frustrating for me to be in the red pill space, because it's got such a bad name. It's got such a bad name because of all these other jokers out here that are still in their red pill rage phase, and they actually haven't done any of the fucking work on themselves. In fact, a lot of these guys that call themselves red pill haven't even read any of the books. You know what I mean? Like, they haven't educated themselves. All they see are sound bites on TikTok and stuff. And then they're like, and which we're going to talk about on Friday's episode. We're going to talk about the difference between men who do the work and men who are just lurking and they're looking for, Cliff's notes, right? It's completely two different men. So you teach yourself who you are. Okay. By the way, guys, if you get value out of any of these episodes, do consider sending a super chat. All right. That helps support the show more than anything else. She doesn't deserve to be your distraction from loneliness, in my opinion. Okay. Like I said, a lot of this stuff isn't red pill. Okay. This is red pill is, do what's best for you, be your own mental point of origin. If breaking up with women over text or just ghosting them is you being your mental point of origin, then by all means, I guess. Okay. But if you want to look at it from a human perspective and you want to look at it like, would you like this done to you? She doesn't deserve to be your distraction from loneliness. Just like you don't deserve to be some other woman's distraction from her loneliness. Like, you allowed a chick to just settle on you, but she don't even fucking like you that much. Right? How does that, like, if you found that out, how would that make you feel? Think about that for a minute. Okay. If you don't want her, let her go so that she can actually find someone who does. Put yourself in her position. Wouldn't you rather a woman who doesn't like you that much let you go so you can go find a woman who has genuine burning desire for you? I would. Your fear of being alone, it's not her burden to bear. Okay? Most guys cling because they're afraid of the quiet that follows. We're going to talk about that more tomorrow, right? It's not her responsibility to make you feel less lonely. Okay? Especially if you fucking hate her. You know what I mean? Why are you putting this on her? Oh, because I hate her. I'm going to make her suffer by having to deal with my ass. Like, is that the logic? I want you guys to think about that for a minute. By the way, like I said, we're talking about a gentleman in the Wolfpack. Okay. Keeping him anonymous. All right. He already knows I'm doing the show about it. I already said it in the pack. I'm going to talk about this on the air because you're not the only guy going through this. Right. This guy, he's a great dude. He's a great dude. And he's actually doing the work now. He's actually reading the books. He's doing this kind of stuff, which is good. He needs this stuff. He absolutely needs this stuff. Okay. But we have over 60 guys that are in there swapping notes through all various areas of, their life. We have guys in there that are working on fixing their marriages. We have guys who are getting over a divorce. We've got guys who have been through the ringer and come out better on the other side. And they actually help give really great advice. And we're all in there swapping notes. Okay. Tomorrow night, we're having our Wolfpack hangout. I'd love to have you guys in there. If you join, it's only $10 a month, but it's a 7-day free trial. So if you've been thinking about joining, join now, show up for the call tomorrow. And the way that the hangouts work is they usually run for about 2 hours, but you don't have to be there for the whole 2 hours. If you can only stay for 5 minutes, come and stay for 5 minutes. It's like a bar. You come into the bar, you have a quick drink, you say hey to the boys, and you bounce. Okay. If that's what you want to do, or if you want to sit there and shoot the shit with other like-minded guys for a while, that's your place to do it. If you have questions with guys that you want to bounce ideas off of, that's the place to do it. It's a great place to do it. Right. So join now, wolf.comeonmanpod.com. It's time to run with the wolves, brother.
Beer club? Not anymore.
Wolfpack, you fix what's broken. You lead like a man again. No pity, no therapy. Just fire, just flame. Cold bed, broken home, midlife drift, feeling alone. You don't need hacks, blogs, lies. You need men with fire in their eyes. We rebuild from the ground up. No excuses, no soft stuff. Telegram lit 24/7. Brothers locked in, steel, not heaven. Step inside the pack. We don't fall, we attack. Truth, fire, presence, we bring it back. Masculine pride, no time to slack. Step inside the pack. Drop your past, claim your track. No therapy talk, no playing small. We sharpen blades, we take it all.
Give me a too sweet, baby. Speaking of Wolfpack, we got Brother Omega here from the pack. He says, I'm here, better late than never. Well, because you were late, Omega.
You're weak as shit and call yourself an alpha. Like, get fucked.
Yeah, get fucked. I'm just messing around. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so we've been talking about, you know, she doesn't deserve this shit, but think about yourself for a minute here. Okay, think about yourself for a minute. A man who can't end something, he can't start something better. You're putting yourself in your own prison of being miserable with this chick. Okay, if you can't close this chapter, you'll never be able to go find a better woman, right? Or you will, and you'll just cheat on her and just continue to act like a shitty person, right? Like, just fucking end it. Just end it. Rip that Band-Aid off and go find a better woman. Use the contenders list that I talk about all the fucking time. Use your contenders list and find a woman that better aligns with your values, and find a woman that has genuine burning desire that you actually want to be with. But if you're just stuck with this chick because you're like, I'm afraid of being alone, so I'm just going to be miserable. What are you doing to yourself? You're torturing yourself. Okay. Now, going back to what my man was going to do, the death by cop method, a problem with his idea there, which was to basically go and say, I fucking hate your friends and whatever. That gives her some ammunition to come at you, be shitty. You know, he was worried about his reputation to plaster fucking shitty shit stuff about you online. That gives her ammunition, right? Because like ending with, I hate your friends, it creates a whole bunch of unnecessary drama. You know what I mean? Now she's going to be word texting you and fucking sending you a bunch of shit and making a bunch of TikTok videos about what a piece of shit you are, all that kind of stuff, right? You don't need to do all that. You don't need to make it messier than it needs to be. If you just say, hey, look, this just isn't right for me. It leaves no chaos behind. It's clean. You know what I mean? Like, she still might be mad, but she won't be as, it won't be as messy, right? By the way, guys, follow me on social media. I'm on most of the good platforms. I'm still banned from X, which I'm going to check again here on December 7th. And if I'm still suspended, I'll create a new account. just follow me on like Instagram or Facebook for now, though. Okay. You can follow me on TikTok, but I don't spend a lot of time on that platform. I basically post and fucking leave it nowadays. I spend most of my time on Instagram. Okay. Also, so here's the thing too. This is one of the reasons why you don't want to like give a big long explanation, because it invites her to like offer rebuttals. Okay. Especially if you're trying to fucking end things and you're not trying to drag the shit out. If you leave it to like 2 lines, not 20, it doesn't invite debate. Okay. But an explanation invites debate. But if you just say, hey, I'm doing this is my decision, it's final. It's final. It's quicker. It's pulling that fucking Band-Aid off. That's why I say keep it to 2 sentences max. Fucking end things. She might say, but what? Why? Don't give her that. Just broken record her and say, have a nice day. Thank you for taking the time to come meet me with me. Here's your shit back. And then leave, right? Like, keep it short as possible. Okay. Don't get into a fucking debate about it. And her reaction to it, it's not your job. Okay. She might cry. She might rage. She might guilt trip you. Your task when you're being a good ender is to stay calm and be done with it. Stay calm and stay done. Okay. Now, my man here, we'll get into it more, but my man here, she sent him a text and he was going to, we told him to block her because he's just not mentally and emotionally strong enough to deal with this kind of stuff, but he forgot to. He just turned off his notifications. And of course, she sent like word walls, which she's like purposely trying not to read, right? But he's now feeling guilty and he wants to go back and try to smooth things over with her. And we're like, dude, stop. You've already said what you needed to say. Block her and move on. Okay. Block her and move on. You're not mentally equipped to deal with this shit. And getting into it with her is only going to make things worse. So stop. Okay. I mentioned rip the Band-Aid off. Okay. You want to just, if you're going to end things, make the decision and rip that fucking Band-Aid off. Okay. Because ripping a Band-Aid off fast, it hurts in the moment for a few seconds, but then it's over with. Right. But if you slowly peel it, like, you're like slowly ripping hairs out. It's fucking agony. Okay. So same thing with your breakup, dragging it out. It's more painful for both people than a sharp, clean cut. Okay. She's going to be hurt. Okay. That's the nature of breakup. Someone's going to be hurt. Just fucking rip that Band-Aid off. Okay. Let her start dealing with her emotions, reach out to her friends and her support group and stuff like that. And give her a chance to get over it. However, she's going to get over it. It's not your job. Just rip that fucking Band-Aid off. And now you need to work on, my man needs to work on his mental frame and stuff like that before he can even consider getting into another fucking relationship. Okay. Which he's doing. He's actually, he's doing the work. Brother Omega in the chat here, he's really leading the charge of reading all these books 10 to 15 times. And he's really inspired a lot of other guys to do it, including the guy that we're talking about today. So it's good. I'm proud of those guys for doing that. And then, by the way, guys, if you're not in this position at all, and you're actually trying to save like your marriage or whatever, and you're thinking about going to counseling doesn't work. Okay. What you need is something that your counselor will never tell you. And that's dread. You need passive dread. The reason why you need passive dread is because it works with her evolutionary psychology and evolutionary biology to reignite that attraction. Talking it out in the fucking counselor's office is not going to work. Okay. Passive dread, reigniting that passion. That's what works. If you guys are in that position, check it out. Go to dread.fixeddeadbedrooms.com. Ending with certainty, it builds self-trust in leadership. When you act on what you know is true instead of hiding in comfort, you strengthen your confidence. Leading a relationship means leading the ending too, and not waiting for it to fall apart. One of the things that I talk about in the new book, I talk about in the last two books too, but really I go in depth on and keep your bitch, right? Keep your bitch, because the whole book is about keeping that attraction going for the long term. So a lot of it is about developing confidence and frame, right? But it's a daily action. Working on your leadership, your confidence, all that kind of stuff is compounded by the actions you do on a daily basis. So if you set the tone and lead in all areas of your life on a daily basis, it creates a positive feedback loop that seeps into your subconscious mind. It becomes a habit. Okay. Part of this ending with certainty is a part of that. It's going to be a part of that, you know? And one of the things I talk about in the book, because one of the things that tradcons just can't get through their heads is that there's no guarantees. There's no guarantees, which makes this a red pill relationship book, because I talk about how to best give yourself the best possible chance of keeping attraction going for a long-term relationship. But at some point you might realize that she's just the wrong woman for you, right? Or you can do everything right and she still might leave because of Breitfeld's law. Okay. Well, you have to be ready for that stuff. So I talk about that in the book. I talk about that kind of stuff. You know, you have to be you got to be prepared for anything. And that includes being a good ender. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be prepared to be that guy who says, this isn't working for me, so that you can move on and find someone better. You don't owe people this kind of shit, right? You don't owe staying in these miserable relationships to someone that, you know, like, it's just making you unhappy, right? Now, the difference between like this and say, get her to fuck you again, right, is that it's a guy who still loves her and he's trying to fix things, right? But if at some point you realize, man, she's holding me back and she's actually doesn't make me happy, you got to do what's best for you, right? So that's part of all that stuff. Staying when you're already checked out, it does more harm. If you're fantasizing about leaving, resenting her, or sabotaging things, the breakup's already started, right? You're already broken up with her. You're just dragging it out. You're not protecting her by staying. She's going to feel your indifference. She's going to feel you pulling away. In fact, she was feeling him pulling away, right? It only creates more damage the longer you keep that shit going. Okay. And then finally, ending clean shows character and it sets up better beginnings. A clean breakup reflects your standards. It protects your reputation. My man was worried about his reputation. It shows self-respect and it builds the decisiveness you'll need for the next chapter of your life. It sets the tone and shows you how to be a leader in all areas of your life, including the breakup. Right. So that's why I really did like what Dr. Glover says about being a good ender. If you ever read Dating Essentials for Men, his whole section on being a good ender is very profound. I highly recommend you read that. That's why it's one of the holy trinity of dating books for me. But what I find fascinating about this whole situation for my man, though, is he was worried about his reputation. And then, when he went to go break up with her, he couldn't. And he ends up trauma dumping on her with all this kind of stuff. It's like, dude, you now have a reputation of being weak. And I told him, when he showed us what he told Oliver, or what he told her, all the stuff he told her, I replied to him. I go, dude, if she didn't think you were weak now, she does now. Right? If she didn't think you were weak before, she absolutely does now. And then one of the other guys in the group, this guy who's like sort of our resident passport bro. This guy lives a wild life down in South America and shit like that. Love this guy. He has lots of good insights too. Like I said, a lot of the senior guys in Wolfpack have great insights. And one of the things that he said was when she texted him after the fact saying, "Oh, I didn't realize you felt this way." He goes, "When a woman says that, I didn't realize you felt this way. What she's really saying is, I didn't realize I had all this ammunition I could have used against you to manipulate you." He's like, there's zero light between those two sentences. It's like, yeah, this is one of those things we tell guys in the space that women don't care about your struggles. They wait at the finish line and bang the winners. They don't fucking care. If you go and trauma dump on them and tell them about how you don't feel emotionally safe in the relationship, that just, all she hears is weak, 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 weak. I can use this to manipulate him later. I can shame him later. I get whatever. Women magically like to use all of your pain and weakness against you. So why give them that? Don't fucking trauma dump on them. Just end things cleanly. So what he ended up doing is, and I mentioned this a little bit in the podcast, right? So what he ended up doing was he went to her house to give her stuff back and to deliver the 2-line breakup script we told him. We said, just say this, right? "I'm no longer feeling a connection. I'm ending things. I wish you the best." Instead, he ended up dumping on her, and then they ended up in his car for an hour talking about it. He ended their interaction with, "I need time to clear my head," which he still didn't even break up with her. Then he ghosted her for 3 or 4 days after that because he wasn't feeling well. So he just, I don't know, the Rona or flu or whatever. And so he just stayed in bed for 3 or 4 days and didn't answer his phone. And so when he finally told us that, I was like, dude, at this point, just text her and put her out of her misery, because during those 3 or 4 days, she sent like a few texts that he didn't respond to, trying to plead for him to keep talking to her. Right. He was really reluctant, but he finally sent the death blow text. Okay. Now, the reason why I suggested texting her at this point, I mentioned it earlier, was he already gave her the dignity of seeing her in person, even though he massively failed. Although a guy who's working on this stuff, I will give him credit. He did take a step forward in that direction, which is good. You know what I mean? He just massively failed at it. But one of the things I talk about in this podcast is there's no such thing as winning or losing or whatever, it's winning and learning. Okay. So yeah, he could have done that better, but there's a learning opportunity there. What not to do next time. Don't fucking trauma dump, right? Don't do all the stuff. Keep it to 2 sentences maxed. Deliver bad news, short and sweet, right? But I told him, or because he's already talked to her in person, he clearly isn't mentally strong enough to do it again, and he would have dragged this shit out until Valentine's Day probably. So he didn't just need to end things to put himself out of her misery. He needed to do it to put all of his pack brothers out of our misery of having to hear about this shit constantly. So I was like, just fucking text her. Just text her. I've given it some thought. I'm ending things. And so he did that. So he sends that, and then, whatever. Then the next day he said he wanted to reach out to her to try smooth things over, talk her off a ledge or whatever. And we told him, bro, no. Okay. You're just going to make it worse. She's not your responsibility anymore. Okay. That's how breakups work. Someone is getting their heart broken. Someone's getting their heart broken. You staying unhappy to prevent that doesn't solve anything. You're just prolonging the inevitable. So just be the bad guy. Be okay with being the bad guy, and give her some dignity at least, We told him to block her and to start listening to Forget That Bitch. Okay. Now, obviously, he didn't agree with her politically. He didn't really like her that much, but she really wasn't a bitch. Okay. And that's one of the things my brother, my 3% brother, Luke, told me when I showed him this book, when it first came out back in, was it July? He was like, he went through a breakup, and I was like, oh, you should listen to Forget That Bitch. He goes, oh, but my ex wasn't a bitch. I'm like, that's not the point. That's not the point. Nowhere in the book do we call your ex-girlfriend a bitch. Okay. It's just in the title, because it grabs attention. All right. But it does help guys mentally heal from a breakup, work on their mental frame, and become a better dater later on. Right. So we're like, now that you've pulled that Band-Aid off, finally, now it's time to start doing the work. Okay. He still needs the material to get over her, heal, and most importantly, work on his mental frame. Right. And all that kind of stuff's covered in the book. If you guys are struggling with this sort of thing, I want you guys to listen to this book and do the workbook too. Okay. All right. You probably need to work on your mental frame as well. You know what I mean? Yeah. All right. I thought this episode was going to be a long episode, but it's not. We got a whole bunch of, oh, hey, look, Brother Omega sent $1.99 super chat. He says, let me hear that lovely line from Morgan again. Oh, okay. Here we go.
You're weak as shit and call yourself an alpha. Like, get fucked.
Yeah, get fucked, dude. That's always fun. All right. Let's see here. Relationships are how you prove you're not gay. Yeah. Guys, by the way, smashing like is alpha. All right. If you didn't know that, if you're working on trying to be an alpha male. Or maybe take away his phone so that he can't contact her. I wish we could, but the problem with Wolfpack is it's virtual, it's online, and he's on the other side of the country. So can't do that, but he needs to learn how to do that. One of the things I talk about and Forget That Bitch is blocking your ex, on social media, blocking her number and all that kind of stuff. Now, if you're going through a divorce and you have to co-parent, you have to have some kind of line of communication open. So maybe don't block her phone number, but block her on social media. You don't need to be looking at what she's doing. All that's going to do is keep her on the forefront of your mind. And it's just going to be harder to get over her. Right. So it's better to block her if you can. If you don't have any kids with her, block her on phone too. Fuck that. It'll help you get over her faster. All right, guys, that's all I got for this episode. Let me know what you guys think, right? If you guys disagree, if you're like, fuck her, you don't owe her shit, just dump her via text or just ghost her, like whatever. Let me know in the comments if you guys are watching the replay. Other than that, guys, tune into the podcast on Friday. We're going to be talking about the difference between men who do the work on themselves and by that, I mean, they read the material multiple times. They go to the gym, they swap notes with other guys, and they actively try to improve themselves mentally, physically, spiritually, versus guys who are just looking for quick tips, hacks, and TikTok videos. Okay. Since I've been doing this stuff, a vast majority of guys are just lurkers and never do the work, and they never get the results they want. The guys who put in the work end up absolutely killing it in all areas of their lives. So tune into that episode if you're the kind of guy who only tunes into the occasional podcast, but you're just not moving the needle in the areas of life that you want to improve. Okay. Oh, hey, Alex Patino sent a super chat. He sent $5. Respect the cock, tame the cunt. Yes, we'll give you that one. Hold on.
Respect the cock and tame the cunt.
Yes, that's what we do. That's what we do here on this channel. Thanks for that, brother. All right, guys, that's all I got. If you haven't done so already, do be sure to like, subscribe, hit those notifications. I do have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That's all we got. We'll see you guys later.
This has been the Come On Man podcast. Now, go out and get it.